What's up, basketball fans? Welcome into NBA Now by Chat Sports. Yeah, Harrison Graham was covering for me for the last couple weeks, but I'm back and I'm here to stay. So what I need you guys to do is hit that subscribe button. We just hit over 190,000 subscribers on Chat Sports, and I want to hit that 200,000 mark very, very soon, and you guys can help us out. All you got to do is scroll down and hit that subscribe button. Now let's get into today's news and rumors. Starting off with some news about Billy Donovan, the newest head coach of the Chicago Bulls. Now, the Thunder offered Billy Donovan a 2-year contract, but he left because he said he wanted to coach, quote, a contender, and then he goes to Chicago. Now, I like what the Bulls are doing. I like their young team with Kobe White and Chris Dunn. I guess Chris Dunn won't be there anymore. Zach LaVine, Wendell Carter Jr., Lauri Markkanen. I like those guys. But this isn't a win-now team. This isn't as good of a situation as Billy Donovan had in Oklahoma City. But I do like the hire on Chicago's side of the ball. So Chicago now gets a guy who has developed a young guard like SGA. He's played with veteran guys, or he's coached veteran guys like Russ, KD, and even Chris Paul now. And now you get this young team in Chicago that he can really groom and turn into a playoff contender in the Eastern Conference. Now, in the 5 years that Billy Donovan spent in Oklahoma City, it was a bit of an up and down ride. That first year, he had the KD, Russell Westbrook, Serge Ibaka team, and they won 55 games. Looked really, really strong. Then the next year, no more KD, and they go 47-35. Still underachieved a little bit because you still had Russell Westbrook at the helm of that. Same with the next year, 48 wins, and then 49 wins last year with PG and Russell Westbrook. Definitely underachieved that year. But some of that blame might go on Russell Westbrook and Paul George's shoulders, as we see now. This year, overachieved by a landslide, winning 61.1% of his games with with Chris Paul, SGA, and guys like Steven Adams, Danilo Gallinari, Dennis Schroeder leading the way for that team. But now he goes to Chicago, where it's a brand new team, and it's a bunch of young guys that are up and coming. You got Kobe White, who I love a lot, was a really good pick out of North Carolina. I think he's primed to take a huge step forward in his second year. Tomas Satoransky is a good veteran guard on the wings there, and Zach LaVine, of course, a 25-point-per-game guy. Lauri Markkanen, when healthy, is a great stretch four. I think he is really going to take a step forward. I think he could be in the most improved player conversation next year. And then Wendell Carter Jr., another guy, a great defensive big man. And they have a solid bench, too. I like Ryan Arcidiacono. I like Chandler Hutchinson. Otto Porter Jr. is okay. Daniel Gafford is a fun young athlete they got in the second round last year. And they also have the fourth overall pick in the 2020 NBA draft, where they can get a wing like a guy like Isaac Okoro. Or Denny Avdia might be a prime pickup for them. And maybe Billy Donovan could be in a win-now situation. Now, they're not going to be finals competitors, but I do think this team could be a sneaky 7 or 8 seed in the Eastern Conference now that they have a guy like Billy Donovan leading the charge. So I want you guys to grade the hire. Don't grade Billy Donovan's decision, because in all honesty, if we're grading Donovan's decision, it's probably a C+, maybe a B-. But the hire on the Bulls side, I think it's an A to an A+. I mean, this is a great pickup, and this is a guy who knows how to win games and how to develop young guards. Lucky for them, they have a young guard in Kobe White that they're trying to develop right now. Now, if you're a Bulls fan, or maybe you're a fan of any other team in the NBA, whoever it may be, you got to rock your favorite team jerseys by going to chatsports.com/NBA jerseys, where jerseys are shipping for free for a limited time only when you go to that custom link. If you want to get the AD jersey, maybe you want to rep Nikola Jokic, Kemba Walker. And here's a great thing about what Fanatics does. When you go to that link, you get jersey insurance. So if your favorite player leaves or they get traded to a different team, you can get that jersey replaced for free when you go to chatsports.com/NBA jerseys. Get your limited edition shipping for free for a limited time only jerseys over at Fanatics. Appreciate you guys checking them out. They're helping out the show. You guys can help them out by checking out those jerseys. Let's talk about Jrue Holiday. Getting into some trade rumors here between the New Orleans Pelicans and the Golden State Warriors. According to Scoop B. Robinson, the Warriors have interest in an offseason trade to acquire Jrue Holiday from the New Orleans Pelicans. Now, Holiday has a player option in 2021-2022 worth $26 million, but he's 30 years old, and the Pelicans are looking to get younger. And he doesn't really fit that timeline anymore. Now, if you look at the Warriors side of the ball, yeah, they have a young guy in Andrew Wiggins, and they have a number 2 overall draft pick, but they're still kind of in win-now mode with guys like Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, and Draymond Green leading the charge for that team. Now, this last year, Jrue Holiday was absolutely sensational for the Pelicans. My opinion, should have been on the all-defensive team. I think he was an absolute snub, but 19 points per game, 5 rebounds, 7 assists, and shot better than 35% from 3. So I came up with this trade idea. Lucky for the Warriors, they have a contract that matches Jrue Holiday's in Andrew Wiggins. So the Warriors trade away a young guy in Wiggins and the number 2 overall pick for Jrue Holiday. Because let's face it, that number 2 overall pick, you're not getting a player as good or better than Jrue Holiday. Andrew Wiggins is kind of a cancerous contract, still has a lot of time to develop, but if you're trying to win now and get better defensively, that's what Jrue Holiday does. So now this new lineup in Golden State looks something like this. Steph Curry and Jrue Holiday in the backcourt. So you got the scorer in Steph Curry. You got the defensive guard, who's also a great playmaker in Jrue Holiday. You put Clay at the 3, Draymond at the 4, and I've got Kevon Looney in at the 5. I know a lot of Warriors fans are like, oh, what about Marquise Chris? Okay, Marquise Chris has a non-guaranteed contract, and he's really not that great, so you probably want an upgrade at center, whether it's Kevon Looney, Marquise Chris, or literally anybody else. But then you go to the Pelicans, and I think they improve a lot from this deal. At number 2, you take LaMelo Ball, and you don't look back, and you put him in the same backcourt with his brother, and you recreate the magic that happened at Chino Hills. And you got Lonzo and LaMelo in the backcourt to go with Zion and Brandon Ingram, Jackson Hayes in the middle. You can put Andrew Wiggins as a 6th man off the bench with guys like Josh Hart, JJ Redick, Nickeil Alexander-Walker, and even Nicolo Melli coming off the bench. I think this is a win-win. This lets the Warriors continue to be the championship contenders that we know they are. This lets the New Orleans Pelicans get what I would consider a 3rd star in LaMelo Ball to play with Zion and Brandon Ingram for the long haul. And you get Andrew Wiggins that you can take your time to develop on, who still scores 20 points per game. And coming off the bench as a 6th man, I mean, this is a win-win. So I don't think either team says no to this one. But let me know what you guys think. Maybe the Warriors say no. Maybe they feel like they can get more for Andrew Wiggins and the 2nd pick. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section. You guys can make your call. Now, speaking of LaMelo Ball, let's stay on topic here and go ahead and talk about him. Because according to Rashad Phillips, the Toronto Raptors are interested in trading up to snag LaMelo Ball in the 2020 NBA draft. Now, Ball is, in my opinion, and I think in everybody's opinion, the best point guard in this draft. He should be a top 5 pick without a doubt. But the problem for the Raptors is that they have the 29th overall pick. That is not going to land you LaMelo Ball. So they're going to have to find a way to trade up. Now, what LaMelo Ball does on the floor, he can see over the defense because he's tall. He's 6'7" as a point guard. He's not a great shooter, but he's a good finisher around the rim. Not a great defender, but he's got the length and the body to be able to build up to being a better defender. So the Raptors are going to have to give up a lot to get up to number 2, or really in that top 5. And I think the team most willing to move that top 5 pick is the Warriors. And I think this is the way you can kind of lure them into doing that. You trade OG ANUNOBY, who I love as a defensive player and has turned out to be a better shooter than we expected. They also get the Raptors' 1st round pick in 2020, which is 29th. They get their 2nd round pick, which is 59th, which isn't all that valuable, but it's another draft pick nonetheless. And then they get the Raptors' 1st round pick next year. And so that allows the Warriors to be able to get 2 new 1st round draft picks, a 2nd round pick, and a young guy in ANUNOBY who can play right away. The Raptors get the 2nd overall pick and Alan Smailagic, who the Warriors just drafted out of the G League. So now the Raptors can be happy and get LaMelo Ball to build around for the future. Now, the new lineup in Toronto would look something like this with LaMelo Ball, Kyle Lowry in the backcourt, Pascal Siakam, of course, at the forward position, and then yes, Serge Ibaka and Marc Gasol are free agents, but for the sake of this exercise, we're going to go ahead and put them in the starting 5 either way. So this allows the Raptors to both win now with guys like Lowry, Gasol, and Ibaka, and build for the future with Siakam and LaMelo Ball. And they are sitting pretty. And then the Warriors turn around, and they get to add a defensive stud in ANUNOBY into their starting 5 with Steph Curry, Klay Thompson. Then you put OG in there with Draymond and again, Kevon Looney for now at center, but they'll probably upgrade there at some point. And no, it's not as good, but you got to think about it. You also get to add some depth with that 29th pick. You also get to add someone next season. And the Warriors, I think the Warriors still probably say no in this situation. I think they'd have to sweeten the pot a little bit more. I think maybe a guy like a Norman Powell would have to be a throw-in addition as well. But I like what the Warriors get here. I like it more for the Toronto Raptors because they could get a guy they could build around for the long haul. And listen, LaMelo Ball is going to be in high demand. Timberwolves have the number 1 pick. They could take a look at him. The Warriors, again, at number 2, could take a look at him. The Charlotte Hornets at 3, the Bulls at 4. He's not going to fall past number 5. But which team do you think should draft LaMelo Ball this year? Should it be the Timberwolves at number 1? Should it be the Warriors at 2? Who do you think it should be? Let me know in the comment section down below. Let's stick with the Toronto Raptors, and we're going to go to Marc Gasol, the unrestricted free agent to be. The Clippers are showing interest, according to Dan Favale. He says that, listen, the veteran big man who plays a lot of defense could make a lot of sense on this Los Angeles team, and they are already beginning to show interest as we approach the off season. Now, he only played in 44 games this past year. He dealt with a lot of injuries that kept him out, but you got to remember, he was a vital reason. In fact, I would say he was the main reason the Raptors made that, besides Kawhi Leonard, of course, made that championship push in 2018, 2019. But the years have looked very different for Marc Gasol between last year and this year. In that championship run, he was scoring 14 points per game, pulling down 8 rebounds, dishing out 4 assists, one of the best passing big men we've ever seen, shooting better than 36% from three, and he played in 79 games between his time in Memphis and Toronto. And then you look at this year, he's only putting up about half the points at 7.5, pulling down 6 boards, still passing the ball well for a big man, shooting the ball well as well, but he's only played in 44 games, so we've gotten a very limited sample size of Marc Gasol. Now, before I talk about why he makes more sense for the Clippers, I want you guys to make your call, because I do think some team is going to be very, very happy when they get Gasol this offseason. Which team should sign him, or which team should he sign with? Let me know in the comment section down below. Any team you guys think, go ahead and shout it out. Maybe you think it's the Clippers. Maybe you think he should return to Toronto. Let me know what y'all think. But let's talk about the Clippers for a second and just talk about why he makes sense. You know, under contract next year, the Clippers are pretty thin. They've got Ivica Zubac, who I like a lot, and he will be under contract for a little bit longer. They've got JaMychal Green, potentially. He has a $5 million player option that he could opt out of. Fiondu Kabengele out of Florida State, who really didn't play that much this year, is under contract. Joakim Noah has a non-guaranteed $1.7 million deal. And then Montrezl Harrell, who is their main big man, is a free agent, along with, guys not mentioned here, Patrick Patterson. So the Clippers don't have a lot of depth at that big man position, especially not at the center position when your backup is a rookie in Fiondu Kabengele who never even played this year. So let's say they go out and they get an established veteran in Marc Gasol. Now all of a sudden your starting 5 is Patrick Beverley, obviously an outstanding defensive guard, Landry Shamet, an outstanding shooter, Paul George, who has his ups and downs, and then you can put Kawhi Leonard back with Marc Gasol, and all of a sudden this team, although they're great, takes another step forward with a guy who can stretch the floor and play lockdown defense from that center position. Now, Marc Gasol is not going to be that expensive this year. I think he'll go for maybe the mid-level or even the veterans minimum with the amount of games that he played this last season. But I can promise you one thing. Some team is going to be very, very happy when they sign Marc Gasol this offseason.